Hello everybody and welcome to the video with myself, Ashley, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I doubled my business. Now before we just jump into that, I make these videos for business owners who want to get more clients, make more money and build better businesses. So if you are one of those type of people and want to do one of those things, hit subscribe for more content like this, as I'm going to try and put out as many videos as I possibly can helping you do exactly that for free. Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is how I essentially doubled my business, and the way that I did that I'm going to go into more detail about, but primarily we went from a 40% to an 80% close rate, right, when it comes to signing new clients. Now if you currently own a business or you take clients through a sales process, you know that going from 40% to 80% is a big jump. And if you don't do that at the moment, you can tell just by doing the math that obviously 80% is double that of 40%. Now, I really tried to look at how this happened across the business, and after kind of really digging into the changes that we were making and the improvements that we were trying to put in place, it became obvious that there was one factor, there was one thing that made or that gave us outsized returns. And quite simply, it was down to the momentum of the deal. Now, deal momentum is, as I've sort of found out, is a very important thing, because what most people do, most business owners, is they'll get an opportunity, okay, whether they've gone and found the opportunity or whether the prospect, the client, the potential client comes to them, and they will take that person through like the initial steps of their sales process. So it might be going out to visit the client, it might be having a discovery call on Zoom or something like that. It might just be a phone call. But what tends to happen is you will get to a point of presenting a price to that client, and most business owners just kind of take that price and they put it out there into the ether, and just cross their fingers and hope that that client's going to come back to them and say, yeah, let's get started, let's come on board, when 9 times out of 10 that's just not going to be the case, because prospects are busy, like they're looking at other options, they're speaking to other people, other vendors, and that's where a lot of the time, for me definitely, we were losing out on new business or potential business because we didn't have that momentum in the deal, right? And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about, to give you all the things that I basically did and changed to take myself from 40% to 80% close rates. So the first things first, like, what is deal momentum? And let's just look at like the word momentum in itself, because momentum just basically means motion, and motion within the deal is what is moving things forward, right? And the more momentum you have, the more velocity that you have, meaning that things are moving forwards at a more rapid rate to get you to where you want to be, which, you know, ideally, if you're watching this, it is closing the deal, getting clients and getting paid, right? Which, if you remember at the beginning, I said that's exactly what we do on this channel. So momentum, deal momentum in itself just basically means moving things forwards quicker, but also having control of it as it's moving, right? Because it's all well and good moving forwards quicker. If it then just sort of falls off a cliff, that's not great, okay? But taking control of the deal, the conversation with that prospect about the thing, the service that you provide them, and moving it forwards with more velocity. But the key thing there is actually moving it forwards, right? Actually putting motion into that deal to take it from potential client who's looking at their options to sign business, money in your bank account, okay? And that's the key thing here. Now, as I said, what most people do, what most business owners do, and I'm kind of assuming that you watching this, you're a business owner, and you are the person who deals with a lot of the sales in the business, or at least some of the sales, right? You're still in a position where you are doing some of the sales or all of the sales yourself, right? But what most people do is they will have those those conversations with the client, they'll get themselves to a point of presenting the price. So that could be on a call, it could be in a proposal, like whichever way that it is that you actually present your price to the client. What most people do is they'll just send that over, right? Normally in like a PDF on an email, which by the way, nothing wrong with doing that. But they'll just send that over there with like crossed fingers, hoping that the client will come back. And 9 times out of 10, they don't, or at least they don't in the time frame that we want them to move the deal forwards, right? So that's essentially like where most people are going wrong. They are getting an inquiry, they are putting together a proposal or a quote, and they are sending that out saying, here's the quote, Mr. Client or Mrs. Client. Looking forward to hearing from you. Like, please come back to me. And that's where a lot of things are falling off a cliff. And that's what I was doing myself. We were doing the proposals. We were taking the time to take that client up to that point, gathering all the information that we need to put together a proposal. But ultimately, we were letting ourselves down because we would send that out to the client and then nothing. Right, we wouldn't have anything back, or we would, but not as often as we would like. So we looked at how we could increase our close rate, but we started with actually just getting the reply back from the client in the first place, so that we can then either handle objections, answer questions, or just get contracts signed and close the deal. So that's really where things go wrong at the moment. So we need to make a change so that we can build that momentum in that process, so that we do have the clients come back to us with, whether it's a yes or a no or feedback or additional steps. Having the conversations actually take place is the main thing that we're looking for at that stage in the sales process. Now, before we get too carried away, what we need to understand is what our sales process actually is. Because I speak to a lot of business owners, I work with them one-on-one, or they're a part of Strategy One. And one of the main things that I hear is that the business in itself just doesn't have a sales process. Now, that is a longer video for a different day. But to keep it short, and just so I can really allow you to sort of visualize the deal momentum that we need to build in. When you're selling a service as a business, you're going to have one or two ways in which you convert a prospect. Okay, and when I say convert, basically taking someone from who isn't a prospect, isn't a client, to someone who is a client and is paying you money, right? So the way that these typically happen is either you're going to have a sales call, right? So you're going to get interest in your service, or you're going to do outreach stuff and get someone interested in your service. You're going to get on a sales call, and in that sales call, you're going to use that to understand what they do at the moment, where they want to be, understand that your service is the thing that can take them from where they currently are to where they want to be, and then you pitch your service to them, present your price, and then handle objections and close the deal in an ideal world, right? When you get to that point, they may not be ready to buy. They may not be in a position to move forwards, in which you then can go on to follow-up stages, which I will pick up with you in just 1 second. The other way that we tend to see is more of a discovery and proposal process. Okay, so if you work in more traditional businesses, things like accountancy services, solicitors, anything like professional service, anything like physical service, cleaning, gardening, those sorts of things, then you're more likely to do more of a discovery and proposal process, right? Which essentially means you have a call or you have a meeting and you find out what is happening at the moment, where they want to be, where the problems are, what the main goal is, or the thing that you need to solve is. You then you will then create them a proposal. Okay, so you go away, scurry away, and type up a proposal, and then you'll get that sent over to them. And then follow up from there. And it's that tail end of the process that most people fall off that cliff, because they just don't get the response. The main reason for that is because you put your price out there and the prospect connects, I want this thing with this is how much it costs, they'll drop off, okay? And they'll go into like thinking mode, and then they get distracted and they'll never talk to you ever again, right? And our job here is to build in deal momentum so that that doesn't happen. So whether you go down like a sales call route with your service, or you go down a more sort of traditional proposal call and discovery and that sort of stuff, the key thing here is when you tell them the price, right? That is the point where the prospect is going to object and they're going to say, oh no, I can't do that because I'm a special snowflake. Or they are going to put it off to go talk to other people and like drag the buying process on, right? Which is not necessarily a problem, because the way that different people buy or different companies buy will be an internal buying process, right? You can't always change the way that the different businesses purchase stuff, right? Purchase services, find service providers. What you can do is make sure that you link up every step of that process to increase the chances of you actually signing the deal, which is exactly what we did, okay? So the way that you do this, or the easiest way that you can do this, is by using something I like to call BAMFAM, right? BAMFAM basically stands for book a meeting from a meeting, right? So in essence, when you are on a call, when you are having a conversation with your prospect, you are in a meeting, right? Now, when you finish that meeting, or when you are at the end of that meeting, before leaving the call, leaving their site, wherever you are, wherever that meeting is taking place, you put something in the diary to follow up with them. And putting it in the diary is the important thing here, right? Because what you are doing is you are securing yourself time on their calendar in the future, right? And we call this calendar commitment. So they are committed to having another meeting with you because you've booked it in now for later down the line. And where we walk through that sales process, so whether you do like a discovery call and then you jump on a proposal call and then you jump on like a follow-up call, you are booking each one of those things into the calendar so the prospect is held to it, right? It's on the calendar. People live in their calendars these days, right? So before you finish that meeting, you simply say, great, we've had a really good conversation today. Have you got any more questions? No, I don't. Fantastic. Well, look, you told me at the beginning of this meeting that the things that you need to do are A, B, and C. Absolutely fine. And you said to me that it's probably going to take you sort of 2 weeks to get those done. Is that right? Yes, it is. Fantastic. Well, look, I'm just looking at my calendar here, and 2 weeks is the 18th, which is a Wednesday. I've got some time in sort of like 10 o'clock in the morning. Is it all right if I just pop something in the calendar just so you don't get mega busy, I don't get mega busy, and we can just look at how we're going to solve this problem for you, right? And by simply doing that or saying something to that effect, right, what you are doing is you're putting yourself on their calendar. When the meeting then comes around, you're not just picking the phone up out of the blue saying, hi, it's Ashley here, remember me? And they're like, yeah, mate, I'm well busy, like, see you later, right? You are on the calendar. It's a scheduled meeting, right? So the likelihood of them showing up with some sort of update, with some sort of progression in the deal, significantly increases because it's a meeting, right? It's a meeting on the calendar. And whether you are using a more traditional method of selling, so discovery, proposal, follow-ups, or you go through like a sales call where you're trying to sell your service on that call, and then you go into like a follow-up call because maybe they don't buy, you got to check with their partner or their boss or whatever it might be, and they go into that follow-up call. You do exactly the same thing, okay? So like, sounds like you need A, B, and C to move this forwards. Let's have a call. Let's put this on your calendar. But the chances of them coming back and having that second meeting is significantly increased because you've booked the meeting with them. Now, here's the important bit. When you jump on that meeting, you use your notes from the last meeting, okay, to say, well, John, last time we spoke, we had a great conversation, and you said that you needed to do A, B, and C, and that was going to sort of take you 2 weeks. I was hoping to get an update on that. Where are we at the moment with sort of moving this deal forward? okay? Something to that effect. Now, John has told you that he needs to do ABC. He's shown up to this meeting within the time frame that he said it's going to take to actually do those things, and it would be reasonable for you to expect those things to be done. And if those were the things that need to happen to close the deal, you can then say, great, okay, well, you've had these conversations, you've done X, Y, Z within the time frame. Is there anything now stopping us from moving this forwards, right? Now, the answer here is no, like, let's move forwards, which, that's good. We've signed a client, probably. Or they're going to say, yes, actually, there's X, Y, Z that still needs to happen, or someone needs to come back to me, I'm checking this price out, or blah, 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 right? Million objections, different video for a different day, right? But the important thing here is we circle back around with our deal momentum, okay? So we say, okay, so you're telling me that we have done ABC, but there is X, Y, and Z that still needs to get done. Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay, and with X, Y, and Z, how long do you think that's going to be taking? Just so I'm aware. It's going to probably take another week. Great. John, look, I've just got my calendar here. Next week is Thursday, Wednesday, whatever I said earlier. I've got like 3 o'clock in the afternoon available. Is that okay if I just pop this in the diary? I've got a busy week. I'm sure you're a busy chap. Let's just pop something in there now, right? Send the calendar invite over. Happy days. What you've done there is you've booked a meeting from a meeting. And this cycle continues, okay, with booking meetings from meetings to follow up with the prospect until you get a very, very clear yes or no, okay? We're not going to get off those calls with maybes or I don't really know what's happening, right? Okay, we're always setting something to happen, right? And giving it a time frame and then booking in the meeting on the day that they say that they're going to be ready, okay? Now, they're not always going to say, I need to do this or that or whatever. It may just be, I need to wait a week to, like I'm on holiday, I'm on annual leave, or whatever it might be, okay? No problem at all. You're still booking them in for the period of time that they say that they need to think, okay? And in the meantime, what you can be doing is sending them some additional stuff via email, not spamming them, but just sending them additional useful material to nurture the relationship to make your life easier when you do jump on that next call and try and close the deal, right? So that could be like case studies. It could be similar clients to them in their position at the moment. It could be videos on YouTube about the service that you provide. It could be like before and after results, whatever, right? As long as you're not spamming them and it is actually useful, it's not just in their inbox every day saying like, look at me, look at me, look at me, because they're going to be pissed off at you. They're not going to show up to the meeting, right? But you can send them an email after you get off the call and say, John, really appreciate your time today. It was a great conversation. I know you have to do A, B, and C. In the meantime, I was just looking through our case studies. Here's a business that looks exactly like yours. This is what we did for them. This happened sort of in the last 3 months. Also, there's a video on our YouTube channel where you can see the results from X, Y, and Z, right? And sending that to them not only actually builds a little bit more rapport, because the more content they consume of you, the more they think that they know you and are more familiar with you and your business. Equally, you are sending them positive things. So when they come into that next call with you, they're kind of pre-framed with these positive things in the forefront of their mind through case studies or testimonials or videos or social proof or whatever it is that you put into those nurturing emails, so that you are starting that conversation further forwards than you would be if you hadn't done the nurture sequence, right? So with all that being said, the thing that essentially is going to increase the amount of clients that either do sign with you, okay, and decrease the amount that don't come back to your proposals, don't show up to meetings, and ghost you, essentially, is deal momentum, right? And the key thing there is booking your meetings in from the previous meeting, right? And actually having next steps in the process, having time frames to get stuff done. But the momentum, right? The motion in the deal, taking the steps so that the prospect is not left with potentials, okay? Maybe reply, maybe talk in a week, maybe talk in 4 weeks, right? They are moving along this set of steps that you are in control of, and you are plotting along the way so that whether they say yes or they say no, you're in control and you are moving it forwards at the pace that you want to move it forwards with, okay? And that is what deal momentum is. And that is exactly how I doubled the business and took our closing rate from 40% to 80% and essentially made us more money. So thank you very much for watching the video today. Means a lot. And as I said at the beginning, if you are a business owner who wants to get more clients, make more money, or just build a better business, hit the subscribe button for more content like this, more videos. Equally, I would love to hear your thoughts on this video and what you would like to see and listen to more of in the comment section below, so I can put out content and videos that is going to help you and people like you get more clients, make more money, build better businesses. Until then, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video.